Welcome to Press Start to Join, a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network powered by ATB. This is episode 196, and I'm Alan.
I'm Josh. Today is another History in Gaming, or History of Gaming, or the game history. It's a
history episode.
Yep, and I didn't write a cold open, so Alan's gonna learn that today we're talking the history in the game God of War.
Oh, nice.
It all had to begin in the studio that produced the main titles, the Santa Monica Studios. Quick cover of them.
Okay.
They are established in 1999. Their first game was Kinetica, a sci-fi racing game for the PlayStation 2.
Cool.
It was released October 2001. They developed a game engine named after the game, and it was used for the first God of War and the second. Since then, Santa Monica Studios' success with the God of War franchise has won hundreds of awards. Besides being a game development studio, they've acted as mentors in the industry.
Nice.
They've helped small developers get a start in the gaming market, such as That Game Company, famous for Journey, Flower, and Flow. Also Giant Sparrow, the makers of The Unfinished Swan and What Remains of Edith Finch.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And Superbot Entertainment, which were responsible for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Well, you can't win them all.
That's their one and only game as well.
Ooh, ouch.
So for this episode, I want to talk about the story more than the gameplay. So let's start off by just saying there will be plenty of spoilers for this history episode.
Makes sense.
And I want to keep the latest installment a surprise for myself, so when I get to that point, I'll give you the opening pitch of the game, and I have not dived into the story at all. I saw one spoiler that had me shed a tear when I learned it. And
yeah, I mean, we're still pretty close to the release of the fourth God of War game, so I think it's fair to say that, like, it came out, I've already recommended it, it's a good game, we'll give you the premise, but we're not gonna delve into it because we're still in spoiler territory.
Yeah. So, the first few games are very similar in gameplay, and by few I mean most games. It's a third-person hack-and-slash adventure. Kratos, our hero we'll follow throughout all these games, has to fight through hordes of enemies and monsters. The difference is some are human and some are very big and not human.
Yeah, very inhuman.
So he starts off with the Blades of Chaos. They are weapons that are bound to his forearms by these magical chains that allow them to extend. And later he finds weapons that give a different spice to the gameplay, and you use powerful combos to defeat enemies. So, the series used the inclusion of quick-time events to change the pace of combat. So instead of just mindlessly attacking, some enemies can be defeated by a series of on-screen commands to execute them. This rewards Kratos with health or mana. Mana is used for magical abilities, and these abilities are stolen from enemies. Like, one of these abilities is Medusa's Gaze, where Kratos just holds up the Gorgon's severed head and turns enemies to stone.
Yeah, I mean, it does the job.
He also gets the Rage of the Gods ability, or an equivalent. It gives him a temporary invulnerability, increased and increased attack damage. Most of the titles also include a controversial minigame which Kratos has sex with a woman or women, and then the player gets rewarded with experience points.
Yeah, that was early God of War.
The player goes on, the journey the player goes on has puzzles and platforming sections in between combat. So, it's got a really good fighting mechanic, and the puzzles they get better as they go on.
Yeah, Santa Monica Studios, like, it's definitely, if you want to go back and play the first God of War, it's not a bad game.
Nope.
But they have matured and learned how to make good games so much better over the years.
Oh, and the first one is, you'll go through it very quickly.
Yeah.
So, God of War first came out for the PS2, March 2005.
Wow.
I'm starting here because I was thinking maybe I'll go story order and not release order.
Oh yeah.
But then as I started going through it, I'm going to do game release order.
That's probably for the best.
So, the first God of War has been thought to be one of the greatest games ever made, and it was the 11th best-selling game for the PS2.
Wow, and the PS2 had a lot of games.
It was preceded by Kingdom Hearts by only 170,000 copies.
Damn.
It's the game which is considered part of the first era, which is the Greek mythology. So I wanted to get into the story to catch everyone up for the newest release. I thought this is more of a service than anything for people.
Yeah.
In the first one, we meet Kratos, a warrior who serves the Greek gods of Olympus. Flashbacks reveal that he was once a successful captain of the Spartan army and led his men to several victories before being defeated by a barbarian king. Facing death, Kratos called on the god of war, Ares, whom he promised to serve if he would spare his men and provide the power to destroy his enemy.
Okay.
Ares agreed and bonded the Blades of Chaos, the pair of chained blades forged in the depths of Tartarus, to his new servant. Kratos now equipped the blades, then decapitated the barbarian king.
Fair enough.
Kratos waged war at the behest of Ares, eventually leading an attack on a village occupied by worshippers of Athena. Unknown to Kratos, Ares had secretly transported Kratos' wife and daughter to the village. During a frenzied attack on the temple, Kratos accidentally killed them.
Yeah, I've never been quite clear on like why Ares just decided to muck with Kratos by getting him to kill his own family.
Because the gods have a sick, twisted sense of humor.
Yeah, that's true. The gods are definitely the bad guys in all of these games.
Yeah. So, although Ares believed that this act would free Kratos to become a perfect warrior, the Spartan instead renounced his pledge of servitude to the god.
You don't say.
The Oracle of the destroyed village cursed Kratos by bonding the ashes of his dead family to his skin. That turned it ash white and earned him the nickname Ghost of Sparta.
And that's why he's gray.
Yep. Plagued by nightmares of his horrible deed, Kratos vowed to serve the other gods in hope of ridding himself of the visions. So when the game starts, Kratos has been serving the gods for 10 years. He kills the Hydra on behalf of Poseidon, but he's grown tired of his service and suffering. He summons Athena, who states that if Kratos performs one final act, the murder of Ares, he'll be forgiven for killing his family.
Nice. I mean, it wasn't really his fault, but okay.
Yeah. Ares is waging war on the city of Athens out of hatred and jealousy of his sister Athena, who assigns Kratos to destroy Ares because Zeus has forbidden divine intervention. Athena guides Kratos to the war-torn Athens. After a strange encounter with a gravedigger who encourages him to continue his task, Kratos battles his way to Athena's oracle, finds her, and learns that the only way to defeat Ares is with Pandora's Box, a mythical artifact that grants the power to kill a god.
Cool.
They really got all the lore of the Greek mythology into this.
Yeah, just load everything on in there.
Kratos enters the Desert of Lost Souls, and Athena tells him Pandora's Box is hidden in a temple chained to the back of the Titan Kronos, a punishment by Zeus for Kronos' role in the Great War. That was an amazing thing to see back in the PS2 era. You're like,
No
games
kidding.
can do this? Because you saw him off in the distance and you slowly got closer. Oh, it was so cool. Kratos summons Kronos, climbs for 3 days before reaching the temple entrance, overcomes an array of deadly traps and an army of monsters, and eventually finds the box. But Ares, aware of his former servant's success, kills Kratos as he's leaving the temple. While Harpies take the box to Ares, Kratos falls into the underworld.
Whoops.
Yep, he battles his way through the fiery realm, and with the help from the mysterious gravedigger, who tells him Athena is not the only god watching over him, he escapes and returns to Athens. That was so cool how it's like, this guy I talked to in the beginning of the game just saved me. So then Kratos recovers Pandora's box from Ares, opens it, and his powers, he becomes like a god. Despite Ares' best efforts to destroy Kratos, physically and mentally, including stripping him of the Blades of Chaos and all his magic.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he survives and kills Ares with the Blade of the God.
Oh, yeah, I remember that part.
Athens is saved, and although Athena tells Kratos his sins are forgiven, the gods cannot erase his nightmares. Forsaken by the gods, he tries to commit suicide by casting himself into the Aegean Sea, but Athena intervenes and transports him to Mount Olympus. As a reward for the services to the gods, she provides Kratos with a new set of blades and a seat as the new god of war. That was the first game. It received rave reviews. They averaged between 90 and 100% from critics. It also received awards such as Best Action Game, Best Performance by a Male Human, Male, Action Adventure Game of the Year, Console Game of the Year, and Game of the Year.
Nice.
It pretty much swept up. So, God of War 2 came out in March 2007. It remained pretty much the same, puzzles were improved, the boss battles were increased 4 times, giving you 16 bosses to fight.
Wow.
So, in the second one, Kratos, the new god of war, is still haunted by nightmares of his past and is shunned by the other gods for his destructive ways. Ignoring Athena's warnings, Kratos joins the Spartan army in an attack on Rhodes, during which a giant eagle suddenly drains him of his powers and animates the Colossus of Rhodes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. While battling the statue, Zeus offers Kratos the Blade of Olympus in order to defeat it, requiring Kratos to infuse the blade with the remainder of his godly power. Although now human, Kratos defeats the Colossus, but he's mortally wounded.
Uh-oh.
The eagle reveals itself to be Zeus all along, who states he was forced to intervene as Athena refused to do so. Zeus then grants Kratos a final opportunity to be loyal to the gods, but Kratos refuses. Zeus kills him with the blade and destroys the Spartan army. The gods.
Kratos is dead.
Yeah, you'd think, but he did die in the first one.
Fair.
So then, Kratos is slowly dragged into the underworld, but is saved by the Titan Gaia.
Ooh.
Gaia tells Kratos that she once raised the young Zeus, who eventually betrayed the Titans as vengeance for the cruelty inflicted on the siblings by Zeus's father Kronos. She instructs Kratos to find the Sisters of Fate, who can alter time, prevent death, and allow him revenge on Zeus. With the aid of Pegasus, Kratos finds the lair of Gaia's brother Typhon. I'm pretty sure that's it. Typhon sounds right.
Yeah, one of those.
Imprisoned under a mountain, Typhon is angered at the intrusion and traps Pegasus, forcing Kratos to explore on foot. Kratos encounters the Titan Prometheus, who is chained in mortal form and tortured at Zeus's directive for giving fire to mankind.
Oh, I remember that. That's the one where he's chained to a mountain and every day like an eagle comes and pecks out his liver. Yeah. That's savage.
Prometheus begs to be released from his torment, so Kratos confronts Typhon to steal his magic bow. He blinds the massive Titan with it to escape and then uses it to free Prometheus, who falls into fire and dies, finally free of his eternal torture.
I mean, yay, I guess?
The immolation releases the power of the Titans, which Kratos absorbs, using it to free Pegasus and then fly to the island of creation.
Ooh.
This game had huge sets. It was a beautiful game. All these games are great.
That is true.
Just before reaching the island, Kratos fights and kills Theseus to awaken the gigantic stone Steeds of Time, a gift to the Sisters of Fate from Kronos in an attempt to change his own fate. This grants Kratos access to the island. There, Kratos encounters and defeats several foes, some of them who are also seeking the Sisters of Fate, including an undead version of his old foe, the Barbarian King, the Gorgon Uriel, Perseus, and Icarus.
Oh, damn. All the hits.
Yep. He eventually encounters the imprisoned Titan Atlas, who initially resents Kratos for his current predicament. Although Kratos explains his intent, Atlas reveals that Gaia and the other Titans also seek revenge on Zeus for their defeat in the Great War. Atlas also reveals that the Blade of Olympus is the key to defeating Zeus and helps Kratos to reach the Palace of the Fates.
Nice.
After evading traps and defeating more enemies, including the Kraken, Kratos encounters an unseen foe, revealed to be a loyal Spartan soldier who is also in search of the sisters. Before he dies, the soldier informs Kratos that Zeus has destroyed Sparta in Kratos' absence.
Oh, jeez.
Outraged, Kratos is further motivated and frees a phoenix, riding the creature to the sisters' stronghold to confront, where he confronts two Lacheus and Atrophis.
Lachesis and Atropo?
That sounds right because it's spelled Lakhesses. ESIS.
Oh, it might be some other like alternate pronunciation. I've known them as Lachesis and Atropo, but I'm probably butchering that anyway.
Well, it's whichever one sounds right to you. That's the one it is, listener. After they refuse his request to alter time, Kratos battles them. During this, the sisters try to change the outcome of Kratos' battle with Ares, but Kratos kills them both, then confronts the remaining sister, Clotho. He kills her using her own traps and acquires the Loom of Fate in order to return to the point at which Zeus betrayed him.
I mean, couldn't he have just used the Loom of Fate to go back and, like, not kill his wife and daughter? And, like, not serve the gods all those years for them being shitty? And
or back to where the barbarian king was and then be like, you know what? Maybe we should do a tactical retreat.
Yeah, just like a treaty or like go out for a soda or something instead of the whole thing that happened. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that time travel could solve in this series, is what I'm saying.
Who knows? Maybe the Loom of Fate has like only so many strings that he can go back in or something. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Because the people who made it and worked it are now dead.
That's fair. I mean, he's probably just kind of like going at it with the blades anyway, trying to like figure it out by brute force. So.
Yeah, and he's a strong dude. He ain't reading the instruction manual.
Yeah.
To finish the game, Kratos surprises Zeus, seizes the Blade of Olympus, and finally incapacitates him. Athena intervenes and implores Kratos to stop, as by killing Zeus, he will destroy Olympus. Kratos ignores her and tries to kill Zeus, but Athena sacrifices herself by impaling herself upon the blade, which allows Zeus to escape.
Damn.
Before she dies, Athena reveals that Kratos is actually Zeus's son, which is completely like possible because he just laid with everyone.
Oh yeah, I mean Zeus was promiscuous as hell as all the animals and everything. It's kind of crazy that Kratos was a demigod the whole time and just never noticed, though.
I guess it comes up in different ways. He was able to take the power of the gods when Ares gave him the chains. Maybe that would have killed a normal man.
True.
So Zeus was afraid that Kratos would usurp him, just as Zeus had usurped his own father, Kronos. Kratos declares that the rule of the gods is at an end, then travels back in time and rescues the Titans just before their defeat of the Great War. He returns with the Titans to the present, and the gods watch their former foes climb Mount Olympus in an epic as hell cutscene.
Oh, I remember that ending. That was amazing.
Kratos, standing on the back of Gaia, declares that he has brought the destruction of Olympus, setting up the events of God of War 3.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was satisfying.
So, this game had a similar reception to the first, averaging reviews between 90 and 100%. It also has a lot of awards like PlayStation Game of the Year, Best Action Game, Best Original Score. IGN and GameSpot called God of War 2 the swan song of the PlayStation 2 era.
Yeah.
This episode of Press It to Join is brought to you by Yes Painting, a new social enterprise started in Edmonton to help spruce up your house while giving youth who have had it rough a chance to build a better future for themselves.
Yes Painting works kind of just like any other contract painting service. The difference is that the work is done by young people who have been involved with youth empowerment and support services, which helps 15 to 21-year-olds who are faced with difficult realities such as homelessness, trauma, addictions, or neglect.
Yes Painting teaches business skills and life skills, pays the workers a living wage, and donates half the profits to the youth empowerment and support services.
Yes Painting is making the world a better place, one job at a time. Check it out on social at Yes Painting, that's at YESS Painting. One thing I do want to add on here, it's not part of the ad read, but I did a little bit of reading on it, and they do make sure that everyone, before they paint your house, has to do a fair bit of hours of painting training.
Oh.
So these are trained youth. They're not just like grabbing people off the street to help them and handing them a paintbrush. They are training them, giving them on-the-job experience in this kind of thing too. So they're good painters.
Yeah, they're real trade painters.
Exactly. So it's more reliable than you might think with something like this.
And please sign up for your free quote at yespainting.com, and that's YESS painting.com. So, since I'm going in release order, here's one I never expected to see. God of War Betrayal. The platform is Java for mobile.
Oh no.
No. This is the only God of War game I did not know about at all. It came out in June 2007, and it's a brief departure from the formula as it's a side-scrolling action game, and is the only God of War title to not be on a PlayStation console. This game is set after Ghost of Sparta, which is coming up later, and is just before the events of God of War 2. So in this game, because of course it has a plot, Kratos is leading the Spartan army in a rampage across Greece. During the campaign, he is attacked by a number of beasts led by Argos, sent by the gods to stop Kratos.
Okay.
After a series of skirmishes, Argos is killed by an unknown assassin who frames Kratos in an attempt to turn the gods against him.
Dun dun dun.
The Spartan pursues his foe across Greece and discovers the identity of the assassin, but is slowed by constant attacks by the minions of Hades and the god... and is slowed by the minions of Hades, the god of the underworld. Zeus sends Syrinx to deliver a message to Kratos, stop the relentless pursuit, and take heed of the destruction already. Kratos, however, battles and kills Syrinx, which inadvertently allows the assassin to escape.
Damn.
Kratos then realizes his actions have further alienated the gods, and Zeus will soon act in response to his defiance. So, it's kind of the actions that made God of War 2 happen.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of all leading in together, but I mean, the main bullet point here is the gods dick Kratos around, Kratos kills the gods are like, hey, stop killing us!
Yeah.
And continue dicking him around.
Yeah. That guy's doing stuff, intervene. Oh, we killed 2 gods. Oh, that makes us mad. Stop killing gods, let's intervene.
Yeah, exactly.
The reviews were mixed to positive, ranging 50 to 90%. The mobile game market was far less robust as it is now, especially given without the power of multitasking. A lot of reviews complained because when you would receive a phone call, the game would exit and there was no autosave feature.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Oh, that's so bad.
It is.
And that was like pre-airplane mode.
Yeah. So, the next game in release is God of War Chains of Olympus for PSP.
Ooh.
It's the first of the 2 games made for the PSP. This captured the full God of War experience on handheld. It was released in March 2008. As far as I could tell from doing this, the main titles come out in March, while re-releases come out in November, which is kind of cool that they are consistent like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well done.
So, in this one, Chains of Olympus, during Kratos' 10 years of service to the Olympian gods, he is sent to the city of Attica to help defend it from the invading Persian army. After successfully killing the Persian king, decimating his army, and slaying their pet basilisk, Kratos observes the sun fall from the sky, plunging the world into darkness.
That's not good.
As he fights his way through the city of Marathon, the Spartan witnesses the black fog of the Olympian Morpheus cover the land. He hears a haunting flute melody, which he recognizes as a melody once played by his deceased daughter, Calliope. Finding the Temple of Helios, Kratos is tasked by Athena to find the missing sun god, as Morpheus has caused many of the gods to fall into deep slumber in absence of light. The Spartan eventually locates Helios' sister Eos, I think it's Eos, who tells Kratos that the Titan Atlas abducted her brother. Eos advised Kratos to seek the primordial fires, which is used to awaken the fire steeds of Helios.
Nice.
The steeds take the Spartan to the underworld, where he has 2 encounters with Charon at the River Styx. Although Charon initially defeats Kratos and banishes him to Tartarus, the Spartan returns to destroy the ferryman.
Yeah, that's another big part of the Kratos story, is like he loses and then he comes back and he wins.
Yeah. After locating the Temple of Persephone and confronting the Queen of the Underworld, Kratos is given a choice: renounce his power and be with his deceased daughter at the cost of mankind, or proceed with his mission. Kratos sacrifices his weapons and power to be reunited with his daughter, but discovers that Persephone is embittered with Zeus's betrayal at her imprisonment in the underworld with her husband Hades. While he is distracted by his reunion with Calliope, Persephone's ally Atlas was using the power of the kidnapped Helios to destroy the Pillar of the World, which will also end Olympus.
Yeah, that sounds not good.
Choosing to abandon Calliope forever, Kratos takes back his power and binds Atlas to the Pillar of the World he sought to destroy, forcing the Titan to hold the weight of the world on his shoulders. Kratos then battles Persephone to the death. Although victorious, he is warned by a dying Persephone that his suffering will never end. Atlas also warns Kratos that he will eventually regret helping the gods, and that he and Atlas will meet again. Kratos then rides the sun chariot back to the mortal world and into the sky as Morpheus retreats.
Cool.
So there's a post-credits scene where Kratos is still riding Helios' chariot in the sky after seeing the return of the sun. Kratos loses consciousness from the exertion and plummets to the ground. At the last moment, Kratos is saved by Athena and Helios, and Athena tells Helios that he will live. So it got great reviews, averaged 80 to 100%. It got best PSP action game, best graphics technology, and best use of sound as some of its awards.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that's a prequel to everything. So far that I've covered.
Okay.
God of War 3 for the PS3. So at the time, it was the best-selling God of War franchise game and the 9th best-selling game on PS3. Behind Gran Turismo 5 Prologue by 150k. Because Gran Turismo 5, the game, is like number 2. I know, it's so
weird.
It was also the most anticipated game of 2010. In this one, continuing immediately after God of War 2, Kratos, Gaia, and the other Titans ascend Mount Olympus to destroy the Olympian gods. Poseidon launches an assault against the Titans, but is killed by Kratos and Gaia. His death causes the oceans to flood Greece. Reaching the peak of Olympus, they try to attack Zeus, but he drives them back and knocks them off the mountain. Gaia clings... I
really like how at this point in the series, it's kind of a footnote. It's like, yeah, during the intro, you kill Poseidon, and everything kind of goes terrible with the weather.
Yeah. Reaching the peak of Olympus, they try to attack Zeus, but he drives them back and knocks them off the mountain. Gaia clings to the mountainside and refuses to save Kratos, calling him nothing more than a pawn for the Titans' revenge.
God damn it. Has he ever had an ally that doesn't dick him around?
He has one single tear shed.
Like, no wonder he has PTSD in God of War. God damn.
That God of War is a great name for it.
Yeah, that's just what people are calling it online.
So, where does he fall? Kratos falls into the river Styx, where he loses the blade of Olympus. The souls of the underworld weaken him and ruin the blades of Athena.
Jeez.
Climbing from the river, he's confronted by Athena's spirit, who has previously sacrificed herself to save Zeus from Kratos. She tells Kratos that her sacrifice has brought her to a higher existence, and she now sees the truths she did not see before. She states that as long as Zeus reigns, there is no hope for mankind, and she gives him the Blades of Exile, and says that he must extinguish the flame of Olympus to kill Zeus.
Oh.
After finding the 3 judges of the underworld and Chain of Balance, Kratos encounters the spirit of Pandora, whom he mistakes for his daughter Calliope. Refusing to help the child, he continues his quest. After encountering the Olympian blacksmith Hephaestus and recovering the blades of Olympus, he kills Hades and releases the souls of the underworld. 'Cause, of course, God of War, of course.
Yeah, pretty much. Par for the course.
He considers searching for Calliope's soul, but Athena reminds Kratos of his quest, and he leaves the underworld. Arriving at Olympia, where he finds the wounded Gaia, who calls for help, he severs her arm and causes her to fall from Mount Olympus to her apparent death.
Well, I mean, he is just a pawn, so what could he have done to help, really?
Yeah. Kratos continues his ascent, murdering powerful foes that include the Titan Perseus and the god Helios. Helios' death plunges Greece into eternal darkness. This leads to an encounter with Hermes, who mocks Kratos for his past sins. Kratos chases Hermes and arrives at the Chamber of the Flame. Kratos discovers that Pandora's box is in the flame of Olympus and is the key to his quest. Kratos discovers that Pandora's box is in the flame of Olympus and is key to success in his quest, as it was in God of War. Athena appears, telling Kratos that the flames around the box can only be quelled by Pandora. Kratos then continues after the overconfident Hermes, whom he catches and kills, releasing a plague on Greece.
Whoops.
At the Forum, he has an audience with the drunken Hera, who ignores his request for Pandora's location and summons Hercules. That was a cool fight.
Yeah, that was a cool fight.
After discussing his jealousy of his half-brother, Hermes attacks Kratos, but is killed. Kratos then... What?
Sorry, you said Hermes attacks Kratos? Is it Hercules?
Oh, Hercules, yeah. After discussing his jealousy of his half-brother, Hercules attacks Kratos, but is killed.
As Kratos does.
Yep. Kratos then encounters Aphrodite, who is indifferent on his War of Olympus. She leads him to her estranged husband Hephaestus through Hyperion's Gate, a teleportation device. In a suicide mission, the blacksmith sends Kratos to Tartarus to receive the Omelas Stone, so he can now forge a weapon for the Spartan. Cool. Kratos finds Kronos, kills the Titan for the stone, and returns to Hephaestus. After forging the weapon, the god tries to kill Kratos himself. Instead, the Spartan kills Hephaestus, who claims that he was trying to protect his daughter Pandora, who was imprisoned in the labyrinth after Kratos opened the box. Refusing.
Wait, what?
After he opened her box in God of War 1, he imprisoned her in the labyrinth. The one with the Minotaur.
Yeah. I guess they're just like, well, labyrinths exist in Greek mythology, so let's use that, I guess.
See, we fought Minotaurs, but have we fought the Minotaur? Labyrinth.
True.
Refusing the Hyperion Gate, Kratos travels through Hera's gardens where he kills Hera, ending all Greek plant life, and makes his way to the labyrinth to find Pandora. Wow, the world is over, essentially. There's a plague, there's no life, everything's flooding. There's no sun.
Yeah, Greece is done.
Yeah. The imprisoned architect Daedalus tells Kratos to unite the labyrinth. Completing this task, Kratos fights his way through the aerial puzzle and rescues Pandora, who tells him to break the chain of balance so the labyrinth can be raised, and she can reach her box. Neutralizing the 3 judges and breaking the chain, Kratos raises the labyrinth, and Pandora tries to enter the Flame of Olympus. Zeus intervenes and fights Kratos. After a brief battle, Pandora sacrifices herself and quenches the flame, despite Kratos' protests.
Yeah.
Finding Pandora's box empty, Kratos attacks Zeus. Gaia returns and tries to kill them, but they escape through her gaping chest wound and continue their battle. Gaia is killed when Kratos impales Zeus through her heart with the Blade of Olympus, which apparently also kills Zeus.
I should hope so.
I'm gonna stab this sword through you and piercing your mom's heart?
Wow.
So epic. Before Zeus can land a final blow, Kratos is saved by Pandora during a journey into his psyche. With help from the spirits and his wife Lysandra and his daughter Calliope, Kratos forgives himself for his past sins. After discovering hope, he regains consciousness and beats Zeus to death with his bare hands, and ending the reign of the Olympian gods.
Excellent.
I remember that. I think you had a lot of trouble because all the ghosts were trying to get into the house and you had to do everything to protect it.
Oh, yeah. That was a brutal one.
Athena reappears, demanding that Kratos returns what she thinks he took from Pandora's box. She refuses to believe that the box was empty, explaining that when Zeus sealed the evils of the world in the box, she placed hope in it, foreseeing that it would eventually be opened. Athena realized that when Kratos opened the box to defeat Ares, the evil escaped and infected the gods while Kratos was imbued with hope, which enabled him to kill Ares. She tells Kratos...
Oh!
Yeah.
So gods have been dicks this entire time because of opening Pandora's box in the first game.
And that's why he's been kind of immune to them, because he's got hope.
Brutal.
See that S on my chest? That means hope, because I opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, pretty much.
She tells Kratos to return her power, saying that she knows how to use it to rebuild what has been destroyed. Distrusting Athena and tired of being used as a pawn, Kratos refuses, saying his vengeance has ended. He impales himself on the Blade of Olympus and releases hope to heal all he had destroyed.
Oh, nice.
An angry Athena pulls the sword from him, saying that he has disappointed her and leaves empty-handed. Near death, Kratos collapses as Athena leaves. There is a post-credits scene. A trail of blood leads away from an abandoned Blade of Olympus, with Kratos' whereabouts unknown.
Ooh.
So reviews were very high for this conclusion, quotation fingers, of Kratos' battle with the Greek pantheon. Actually, no quotation. That is the end of the Greek pantheon.
Yeah, pretty much.
It earned awards like Best PS3 Exclusive, Biggest Badass, Best Graphics, and nominated for Game of the Year.
Nice.
What came after that, Alan?
I have no earthly idea. Oh, wait, you're talking about the fourth one.
Trick question. My favorite God of War game.
Oh, another PSP one?
Which is God of War Ghost of Sparta for PSP.
Nice.
So, it's the 6th game to be released. It takes place between God of War 1 and 2, and this game was praised for its gameplay and story. Some critics claim it to be the best looking game on PSP.
Wow.
And it was released November 2010. I was lucky enough to receive this PSP bundle, which had a black and red limited edition PSP and Ghost of Sparta on UMD and a digital copy of Chains of Olympus.
Nice.
And that's when I discovered my battery puffed up and popped the case off my PSP.
So, no.
No leakage. I took it out. Might order a new one, but if I want to spend $8 on Amazon.
Oh, that's not bad.
A series of flashbacks reveals that an oracle had foretold that the demise of Olympus would not come by the revenge of the Titans, who had been imprisoned after the Great War, but by a marked warrior. The Olympians, Zeus and Ares, believed that this warrior would be Deimos, the brother of Kratos, due to his strange birthmarks. Ares interrupted the childhood training of Kratos and Deimos with Athena on hand and kidnapped Deimos. Kratos attempted to stop Ares, but was swept aside and subsequently scarred across his right eye by the Olympian.
Dun dun dun.
Athena stopped Ares from killing Kratos, knowing his eventual destiny. Taken to Death's domain, Deimos was imprisoned and tortured by Thanatos. In honor of his sibling, Kratos marks himself with a red tattoo, identical to his brother's birthmark.
Oh, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I love these kind of origin stories. Years later, when the game begins, Kratos has taken Ares' place as the god of war on Mount Olympus. Still haunted by visions of his mortal past, Kratos decides, against Athena's advice, to explore his past and travel to the Temple of Poseidon, located within the city of Atlantis. The sea monster, Scylla, attacks and destroys Kratos' vessel off the coast of Atlantis. Though the Spartan drives off the beast, after a series of skirmishes across the city, he eventually kills Scylla. Reaching the temple, Kratos locates his mother Callisto, who attempts to reveal the identity of his father. When Callisto is suddenly transformed into a hideous beast, Kratos is forced to battle her, and before dying, Callisto thanks him and beseeches him to seek out Deimos in Sparta.
Shit.
Prior to departure, Kratos encounters and frees the trapped Titan Thera, which causes the eruption of the Methina volcano, and subsequently destroys the city. During his escape, he has another encounter with an enigmatic gravedigger who warns him of his consequences of alienating the gods. After a battle with Hermes, Kratos arrives in Sparta and witnesses a group of Spartans tearing down a statue of Ares, intent on replacing it with one of Kratos.
Nice.
Kratos then chases a dissenter loyal to Ares into the Spartan jails, who attempts to kill Kratos by releasing the Piraeus lion. Defeating both foes, Kratos journeys to the Temple of Ares, where he encounters the spirit of the child self and learns that he must return to the now sunken Atlantis and locate the domain of death. By leaving, a loyal Spartan provides him with his former weapons, used during Kratos' days as captain of the Spartan army, the Arms of Sparta.
Oh, cool.
My favorite weapons in the whole franchise, because you can block and attack indefinitely.
Nice.
Because, yeah, it's the shield and spear, for those not familiar with Spartans. After returning to the sunken Atlantis, Kratos receives great resentment from Poseidon for sinking his beloved city.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Entering the domain of death, the Spartan frees his imprisoned brother, enraged that Kratos had failed to rescue him sooner, and stating he will never forget him, Deimos attacks and overpowers Kratos. However, Thanatos intervenes and takes a protesting Deimos to suicide bluffs, where Kratos attempted his suicide.
Jeez, okay, so he's mad that Kratos didn't come sooner, so he wants to kill Kratos. That's,
And then Thanatos basically drags him to the suicide bluffs, and this is where Kratos saves Deimos from falling to his death.
Aww.
A grateful Deimos then aids his brother in battling the god with the Arms of Sparta. Thanatos, however, kills Deimos, but is destroyed in turn by Kratos. Remarking that his brother finally is free, Kratos places Deimos in his grave, leaving the Arms of Sparta as a grave marker, so I never get them back.
Well, I mean, God of War has a shield at least. That's something.
It does, yeah. While the gravedigger states that Kratos has become Death, the destroyer of worlds.
Jeez, okay.
Athena appears, begs for forgiveness, and offers full godhood for not revealing the truth. But Kratos ignores her and returns to Olympus, promising the gods will pay for this. As Kratos is seen leaving, Athena looks apologetically at Kratos and whispers out of earshot, "Forgive me, brother."
Oh, damn.
In a post-credit scene, the gravedigger places Callisto in a grave by Deimos, with a empty third grave nearby, and states, "Now only one remains," with the final scene is a brooding Kratos sitting on his throne in Mount Olympus. Great scores, as many of the God of War games have received in the past. Some dipped as low as 70%, but most averaged 80 to 90.
Nice. With all this talk about masculinity in the God of War series, you might also want to check out Modern Manhood, hosted by Herman Villegas. It's a series of interviews towards understanding the many different views of masculinity, and it's a great listen and definitely worth checking out, along with all the other Alberta Podcast Network podcasts at albertapodcastnetwork.com.
Now we're on a God of War game I was not excited for and never played, but I was very aware of it.
Oh?
God of War Ascension, March 2013.
What's this one for?
It's PS3.
Oh, okay. I never heard of it, actually.
It's the 7th game released in the franchise, and is a prologue to the entire series.
Oh, okay.
And the last game to be released in the Greek era of games. This was the only God of War game to have multiplayer. Online, up to 8 players try to take map objectives to gain rewards.
Weird.
Players choose to align with one of 4 gods, which affects the type of combat they'll have. Ares increases attack damage, Zeus increases magic power, Poseidon increases team synergy and sustain, Hades has a special effect like lifesteal, stealth, and curses.
Cool.
There was a variety of map types for players' team games, and they have Spartans versus Trojans in all of these. So there's Team Favor of the Gods, a domination game type where players play for points. Match of the Champions is a 4 to 8 player deathmatch. Trial of the Gods is a cooperative time trial horde mode with a boss battle finale. Capture the Flag, no explanation. And Bout of Honor, a best of 7 fight where 2 players fight one-on-one.
Weird.
Yeah, and it has a plot. The game begins with Kratos, who is imprisoned, chained, and tormented by the Furies for breaking his blood oath to Ares. The Fury Megara tortures Kratos, but he manages to break free. Chasing her through the prison, he discovers that the prison itself is Aegeon the Hecatoncres, the first traitor of the Furies who had broken a blood oath to Zeus. He was turned into a prison of the damned as punishment. Interesting punishment, as the gods usually do. Overcoming an illusion created by the Fury Tisiphone and her familiar Daemon, Kratos finds and kills Megara, retrieving the amulet of Ouroboros, which the Furies have confiscated from him when he was imprisoned. The narrative shifts to 3 weeks before Kratos' imprisonment. Confronted by Orcos in the village of Kira, Kratos is advised that the visions he has been experiencing are mind tricks created by the Furies, and instructs him to find the Oracle of Delphi. Upon the arrival at the Temple of Delphi, he overcomes Castor the Pollux, who tried to kill the Oracle. In her dying breath, the Oracle instructs Kratos to travel to Delos to retrieve the Eye of Truth. Everything is in their dying breath with Kratos, huh?
Oh, well, I mean, people don't have many breaths other than dying breaths when Kratos is around.
Taking the amulet of Ouroboros from the now-dead Castor and Pollux, Kratos travels to Kira's harbor, where he again encounters Orcos. The Oath Keeper reveals that Ares wanted a perfect warrior to help him overthrow Zeus. So Ares helped Kratos fight against the barbarians to make him the perfect warrior. Orcos became the Oath Keeper and did not question the Furies until Ares tricked Kratos into killing his own family. Armed with this knowledge, Kratos takes a ship to Delos. A week later, Kratos arrives at the island of Delos and explores the ruined statue of Apollo. He is attacked by all 3 Furies and is eventually captured. Orcos appears and frees Kratos, transporting him to another location. Orcos gives Kratos the Oath Stone and reveals that he and Aletheia tried to warn Zeus of Ares and the Furies' plan. In retaliation, they took the Oracle's eye. They took the Oracle's eyes, the objects Kratos seeks.
Oh, damn.
After the perilous journey, Kratos uses the amulet of Ouroboros to restore the statue and retrieve the eyes. On completing the trials of Archimedes, Kratos is ambushed and captured by the Furies, who confiscate all his items. Back in the present time, Tisiphone and Daemon cast another illusion to deceive Kratos, who overcomes it and retrieves the Oath Stone of Orcos. He encounters the scribe of Hippocrates, who reveals that the Furies were originally fair in their punishment, but devolved into ruthless beings because of Ares. Continuing his pursuit of the Furies, Kratos reaches the door to Alecto's chamber, but seemingly returns home to his wife and daughter.
Oh.
Another illusion.
Oh. It was a happy ending almost.
This time cast by the Fury Queen, Alecto. She tries to convince Kratos that he can live within the eyes of the illusion if he rejoins Ares, but he refuses. Enraged, Alecto and Tisiphone attack Kratos, who retrieve the eyes, and Alecto transforms into a giant sea monster. After a brutal battle...
why not?
Of course, yeah. His weakness is giant things. That's why... it's the first one he kills, if this is a prequel.
Yeah, fair.
After a brutal battle, Kratos uses the eyes to break through the Furies' illusions before killing them both, which destroys the prison. Kratos returns to Sparta, where he is met by Orcos. He praises Kratos' victory over the Furies, but reveals that Kratos will not be free from Ares' bond unless he kills Orcos. He begs Kratos to give him an honorable death, which will free them both from Ares.
Well, that's alright then.
Kratos initially refuses, but Orcos' continuing pleas ultimately force Kratos to kill him. Afterward, Kratos experiences the first of many nightmares, previously masked by his bond, and discovers his path to redemption through continual service of Olympus. Kratos burns down the house with the corpse of Orcos and leaves, beginning a path to and becoming the champion of the gods. So, the game had favorable reviews, high 70s up to 90%.
Oh, wow.
There was a bit of controversy, though. Bros Before Hoes, a trophy which is received after face-stomping a female villain.
Ooh.
In response to criticisms of misogyny, Santa Monica released a patch changing the trophy Bros Before Foes.
Yeah, I would say that is a much better reference to the meme.
So, before we finish up here, other releases. There was a handful of remasters throughout the history of God of War. 2009, God of War Collection had God of War 1 and 2 on the PS3 at 1080p 60 frames per second.
Nice.
2011, God of War Origins Collection put the PSP titles on the PSP in 1080p 60 FPS and an option for stereoscopic 3D, because why don't throw up when you're playing games?
Yeah. I mean, it could be neat. Like, imagine playing that with a PSVR on. It's the ultimate 3D goggles.
Oh, but you have to have the red and blue lenses still?
No. The PSVR works with like 3D movies and stuff to actually just give depth.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always thought stereoscopic was the two colors.
No, stereoscopic is just two images.
Oh, right. That's like movies. Wow. Doy. 2012, the God of War saga had God of War 1, 2, and 3 on 2 Blu-ray discs, as well as a download code for Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. 2015, God of War 3 Remastered was made for PS4 in 1080p 60 FPS to celebrate the 10th anniversary.
Nice.
We've gone through a lot. You know the name of the next God of War game?
God of War.
God of War, a call from the wilds for Facebook Messenger.
What?
I know! You missed.
What?
Yes!
There's a God of War for Facebook Messenger?
So, before the final game, that takes the title God of War, Sony partnered with Facebook to release a web-based game to promote the upcoming game. It's promotional material. I wanted it to be a fun joke.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, if it's just promotional material, then yeah, sure.
In Facebook Messenger, the game is a short story. It follows Atreus and his first adventure in the Norse wilds. After archery training and learning runes with his mother, Atreus adventures into the wilderness after telepathically hearing the voice of a dying deer. He finds it covered in blood and stays with it during its final moments. A couple of Draugrs appear and Atreus attempts to fight them, but is injured. He is saved by his father, Kratos, who is out hunting. The two of them battle a revenant before returning home. That's it.
Okay, so it's just a little like short story thing.
The big one, God of War 2018, or as Alan said, God of 4, which works great.
Yeah, it's a very good game.
The first original God of War game on the PS4. We follow Kratos north, and are now seeing the influence of Norse mythology. It is also the first God of War to not have Terrence Carson as the voice actor for Kratos.
Really?
Terrence is also known for being the voice of Mace Windu in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Kratos is now voiced by Christopher Judge, best known for playing Teal'c in the Canadian-American military science fiction television series Stargate SG-1.
And he is very good. Actually, just if you're a fan of the new God of War game, you should check out some of the videos that Polygon did with Christopher Judge. They are awesome and hilarious.
Like God of War dad jokes?
Yes.
I do not trust stairs. They're always up to something. And then there's like pause, and then he starts laughing to himself.
Yeah.
So, in PS2J 191, Square to Boy! Alan recommends this game.
It's so good.
I particularly liked that he said it's a great introduction to the series, as fans of the franchise see the game through Kratos' eyes, and newcomers will be more in the shoes of Atreus. I thought that was such a great way to look at it.
And one thing, yeah, like if you're used to the old God of War games, you know that all the camera angles were like set huge cinematic things, so you would see the entire battlefield and it just look epic. And then in the fourth one, they bring the camera in to almost be like a character, third person over Kratos' shoulder, and it makes the whole game so much more intimate and impactful. So, and it's more substance, less spectacle.
Another reason for that is I would have to say the setting sort of forces their hand to change the camera idea, because in Greece we had these huge cities, we had these winding mountain paths. You could do that, but this throughout forests, there's so many trees, you would have to do a weird thing with like the trees go invisible. So
that is true.
It's a smart evolution to make it a third person over the shoulder. So it's a complete reimagining of the franchise, with a huge departure in gameplay, as we've been talking about, and it introduces an intriguing single-shot camera experience that even starts at the game's starting menu.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Although multiplayer was introduced in the previous title, Ascension, there is a single-player only experience, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think it needs multiplayer. Like, it's got enough going on.
It has an open approach to progression, but is not particularly open world, just an open approach.
Yeah, you can kind of set your own goals, and there's a couple optional areas that you can explore around in and do stuff in. But it's not a sandbox, it's an open world adventure.
Yeah. There's no ability to swim, although you travel across large bodies of water on boat. They also added mystic gateways that speed up travel to older areas. The game still has puzzle elements, but the enemies you encounter are from Nordic mythology.
Yeah,
so,
it's like 100% Norse. It's pretty cool.
So here's the diet spoiler version of the game. If you want to go in completely blind, that's why I'm saying diet spoiler. It's basically what you would get off the back of the game box.
Okay.
Kratos is freed from the Blades of Chaos, and he now has a magical battle axe, the Leviathan Axe, which has an ice elemental magic. Besides swinging and chopping, Kratos can throw his axe. Larger enemies have points that can be targeted. And at any time, Kratos can recall his axe, similar to Thor with Mjolnir.
It makes you feel very powerful.
The axe can be upgraded with runes to give it different abilities. A defensive weapon, the Guardian Shield, is an item Kratos can use defensively and upgrade it for more offensive actions. The Rage meter is back, and they call it Spartan Rage, and it lets him use a powerful bare-handed attacks on his enemies. There are also some RPG elements, experience giving bonuses to combat skills, and a currency to purchase items and upgrades. You do play the game as Kratos, but you can sometimes give commands to Atreus, Kratos' son, and you can call on Atreus to shoot arrows at enemies, which mostly help to stun opponents. He is not immune to enemies. If he gets overwhelmed, he'll get knocked out. But there's also the help with exploration and puzzle solving with Atreus.
Well, and with Atreus, you also have an option of prioritizing his upgrades, and giving him more abilities and making him more useful. And it's kind of cool to like actually nurture your video game son while you play.
Yes, the Talon Bow, which is what Atreus uses, has a rune slot, and it can be upgraded for special abilities. So, the plot teaser here is following the death of Kratos' second wife, Atreus' mother. They journey to fulfill her promise and spread her ashes at the highest peak of the 9 realms. Kratos keeps his troubled past a secret from Atreus, who is unaware of his divine nature. Along their journey, they encountered monsters and gods of the Norse world. ...
Yeah, that's a good teaser. It doesn't give away too much. I like it.
Yeah, like, after I learned it's not vengeance and trying to fulfill wishes, I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry playing this game.
Yes, and it is good. It is so good. I really cannot recommend it enough. Like, it's very impactful, very powerful.
At time of recording, it's been out for a short time. Majority of reviews just give it a flat 100%.
Yep.
I look forward to playing it if my amazing co-host lets me hang out and play his PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
That is written in my notes. So I wouldn't forget.
I feel like I've been set up here.
So there's the highly edited and well-timed history of God of War to get you caught up. If you have been playing this latest version and said, but what else Kratos do? That's everything he do. You got it all.
That's all of it. That's everything.
The brothers storyline really got me. That's why I like Ghost of Sparta so much.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. I didn't know about Deimos.
Nope. He's I wouldn't say Raditz. He's the Turles of the of the God of War story.
Going for the deep cuts.
Yeah. That's a Dragon Ball Z character. For those who are really confused. He had one movie. And a lot of hilarious references in Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
This is true.
Your brother. Turles? No, the other one. I do have my list of video game history, but I am modifying it to fit current interests because one I was writing sort of didn't fit in with anything. But it's in the can now. But nice. It was not a recommendation. If a recommendation came from a fan, that would override anything I have worked on so far.
Yeah,
unless I'm half done the script.
Yeah. If any listeners out there have anything they want to learn more about and make Josh do a ton of research on, absolutely drop us a line. We're always interested.
Yep. As a note, you probably noticed all the plot is borrowed / used from Wikipedia, and I actually wrote the rest of it.
Cool.
Through research. I did a journalism.
That's the new name of the series. Josh does a journalism.
Asterisk. Thank you very much for listening.
And thanks for pressing start.
Hey, and it's really easy if you want to get a hold of us. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're at PS2J Show there. And if you want, you can just email us at ps2jshow@gmail.com.
We also have ps2jshow.com, the best place to keep up to date with all the weird and exciting stuff that we're doing. And if you want to help us make more weird and exciting stuff, you can check out our support page, ps2jshow.com/support. You can use our Amazon affiliate link to buy yourself some stuff and tell Amazon that we're cool dudes who deserve a little bit of money. We've got a Ripped coupon code for Ripped Apparel. It is PS2J Show. You get 10% off your purchase of some cool clothes. And we also have our Patreon, where you can stay up to date with all our show notes and our State of the podcast, just like our favorite fan, Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton's an awesome guy. He's on a podcast network called Podzilla 1985. He's on a few shows there, so make sure to check them out. And all music you hear in these episodes, except for the intro diddly, is courtesy of Kevin MacLeod. He makes great music, so make sure to check him out.
Definitely.
Oh my god. Aegean, the Hecton. Wow, I did not look that word up.
Do you want to just like send words over to me and see if I know them?
Yeah. I must have skimmed this pretty bad. There's so many vowels. If there's a blooper reel, this is on it.
Yeah, that's Aegeon,
We're having fun here.
Hecaton. In English, stress on the fourth syllable, it says on Wikipedia.
Hecatoncres.
Hecatoncres, yeah, that sounds right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.